What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 10 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Khatep Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, a couple of absolutely fantastic battles as Rahobi took on the garrison of Hagrief combined with the remnants of the rogue army that had previously held one of the books of Nagash. Well, King Rakash barely managed to hold on against the Slaneshi onslaught at Elysia, but hold he did and managed to more or less not lose too many units. Plus, we've, in the course of that battle, essentially decided what we're going to do with his army. We'll do the Scorpions in another host, and he will be our Birdman. We're going to get him 4 eagles, both from Avalorn and from the Wood Elves, and keep the Flock of Joff in his army, popping him into Disciple of Walat, and then giving him some carrion to follow those eagles around. It'll be a nice little air force and something of an unusual, I think, build for the Tomb Kings, which should be pretty darn interesting. The capacity for the carrion, admittedly, is basically useless because we have like infinite carrion capacity, but the armor-piercing weapon damage plus 10 is a pretty darn significant buff for the unit, doubling their armor-piercing damage. Anyway, before we get started, as we saw the time before last time, we did not reach the engagement threshold that time, but then last episode, you guys blew the engagement threshold absolutely out of the water, like went way over. What I'm getting at is I'm getting some pretty mixed signals here, guys. What are you doing to me? This is worse than high school. At least in college, everyone knew what they wanted, and they wanted the same thing. But anyway, where was I going with this whole rant? Yeah, engagement threshold reach. We'll do the hour-long-ish of this particular episode, and the engagement threshold remains at 350 likes and 50 comments. Now, in terms of what we got to do this particular turn, there isn't much, but I think before we get started, let's get a few names in here as well. Maybe we should port a couple of the eagle names over from the Imric campaign, because the eagles have been absolute stars in the Dragon Run. Anyway, Spokral Stalkers, you will be the buried sentinels, and bury the sentinels, if I can spell you today. And you know what, while we're in this army, let's name this unit of Ushapti as well. You can be... damn, I got a lot of Ushapti names. Guard of Anubis. And you know what, let's name one of the range Ushabti as well. Should be one in this army. Actually, should be several in these armies, generally speaking. A bunch of scorpions here, scorpions all over the place. Oh, right, we can name a scorpion, why not? Pinchy for you, Pinchy for me. And let's name one of these Ushabti with great bow, Hawkeyes of Anubis. And there we go. Speaking of Hawkeyes, wait, let me just get here. Rename you. Okay, well we'll do that later. Speaking of Hawkeyes, I think now that we're at 719 Canopic Jars, it's about time to start moving through the various heralds, and eventually this will lead us to get the heralds empowered, and the army capacity and other buffs are in there and are pretty nice. We also do have the an end to exile thing, but that'll cost 1,000 and will probably not be worth as much as other things that we could get for Canopic Jars, at least not at the current time. There's nothing crazy in here, although I mean, immunity to attrition and cooldown to spells and spell resistance and stuff for the Legion units is pretty damn solid. But anyway, we'll want to start with the Herald of... Okay, there's that hawkish precision, which is what reminded me of it, but this is for just skeleton units. Oh, actually, and Dushabtu with the Great Bow, basically any range units. This would probably go... Oh, but it doesn't include Sepulchral Stalkers, interestingly enough, which is... Which means we'll put it in a different army than the Asaph army, probably. Herald of the Sphinx? No, Herald of Mahrak. Yes, armor plus 10 for Tomb Guard, weapon strength plus 10 for Tomb Guard, and ward save for Hyro Titans. So this is basically tailor-made for Khatep's army in particular. And since it is the Herald of Mahrak, that gives us the choice that I was wondering which of the particular unique Tomb Guard units we will get for Khatep in particular, and I guess the Mahrak Guard will be the ones to go. Now, out of curiosity, what do they do? Mahrak Guard. So you guys have armor-piercing damage, solid, considering, well, it looks like the Sphinx Legion of Numas does not. You have a little bit more armor. And you have, let's see, a unique trait that gives you plus up to 20% physical resistance and plus 15% melee defense. So a very, very solid line-holding unit. I wonder how many of these guys we have access to. Hopefully it's at least 4. We might also get a couple of others into Khatep's army and just give him a bunch of Legion sort of Tomb Guard, but I'll think about it. They'll look fantastic with those Hyro Titans. Anyway, I do believe we're ready to end the turn, so unassign skill points, and we're good to go. Go. Alright, let's see if anybody attacks us anywhere. Hopefully our Eagle recruiting soon-to-be carrion army is not going to get attacked while recruiting. Malekith is going to want to peace out, but that's obviously not going to happen, especially as we are approaching his territory up there, the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, where more likely than not his last army remains. Also, before I forget, while the turn is ending, a different thing. Currently up in the community tab is the vote for the next couple of community chosen campaigns. I believe at the time of the current recording, the Wood Elves, the Skaven, Vampirates, and I want to say Lizards are all sort of neck and neck. So do get out and vote on your preferred factions, as the top 2 will be given campaigns. Sharktooth destroyed. This actually might be significant because that was the last opponent of Mazdamundi. Sacrifice to Mathland, and there's the Herald of Mahrok. Swell. Great Incantation of Tra expires. I don't remember what Tra did. Skeletal Steed Mount gained. What did Tra do? Oh, it's for the special Necrotect. Actually, that's solid. You. Yeah, you're no longer at war with anybody. And that's a concern for us. Join war against 1.1. Huh, that's not bad. 1.5. Ooh. Seducers of Slaanesh and a hit. I mean, granted, we'll attack the lizards, but 1.5. Wait. Wasn't it 1.5 for both of these? It was. You'll declare war on Ayatain for free. Nagaroth, 6.7. 3.6 for Nagarond. Anybody closer to you that we could force you into a fight with? Not really. We can try to get them to declare war on Tiranoc. 0.6. Give them a little money for it. More likely than not, Tiranoc will die anyway. They just have this one territory, but if these guys waste their time going up there, it might not be the worst thing in the world. Yeah, alright, fine. Let's do Ayatain and Tiranoc. Honestly, I'd be tempted to do the Slaaneshi until we were ready to attack these guys. This would cost us, what, 4k? 5.6k? I mean, it's a decent amount, but I feel like it's a decent investment because it prevents them from suddenly attacking us while we still don't have an army down there. So we're gonna do it. Go for it. This will also keep them in reasonable likage of us, but only temporarily until we destroy them and take the book. Anyway, let's go for the next Herald immediately. Now, Herald of Joff gives us the Ushabti upgrades, all of the Ushabti types, so they'll go to the Ushabti army. And this is Deathblow for Nehekara warriors, Skeleton warriors, Skeleton spears, and Skeleton archers and Tomb Guard. I mean, this is pretty solid for pretty much everything. That's pretty good. I'm gonna say Herald of Resetra first. The Sphinx one will be relatively useless to us until we reach our next tier. Oh, hello. We got armor-piercing weapon damage +5 for carrion units. But that's it. All of the other stuff buffs chariots in here. Weapon strength, missile strength, attribute, vanguard deployment, all for chariots. And I don't think that we'd be combining the chariots with the carrion. Two sort of fragile type units in one army seems iffy. Oh, this buffs Tomb Scorpions, and the ward save for Bone Giants is probably not as useful because we wouldn't be sending them into melee anyway, right? Yeah, I like Herald of Resetra. Alright, now, speaking of heralds, Khatep, you get yourself a herald now. You can lose probably the Cultist of Assyrian, you don't need the Charnel Valley Necrotect either, frankly. Alright. And Herald of Mahrok. Right there. A little bit more buff for your Tomb Guard. Wait, 68. Did it not change? Wait, Herald of Mahrok out. It's still 68. Game. Game, don't tell me this doesn't work. We just wasted 250 canopic jars on it. Armor plus 10 for Tomb Guard units. Herald of Mahrok. 68. Could it be that the armor is only applied during battle? Okay, let's move this guy. Maybe once he moves, it'll fix itself. Well, 68 here. Kind of concerned. In fact, I'm very concerned. Auto-resolve this. Oh, this is gonna destroy our Sphinx, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I saw that coming. Occupy. 78 now. Okay. I was concerned for nothing. Maybe not for nothing, but anyway. Ushabti bodyguard for a Hobie. Hold on to it. We might give it to somebody else later, but for now it's irrelevant. Don't collect the income here. Delete the obelisk, and we'll probably be trading this away relatively shortly. Alright, that's Khatep. King Rakash. What do we have here? We have 2 islands, a sea corpse and a shipwreck. Grab the sea corpse. Are there any enemies here? Ooh, hello. Ooh, hello. Whoa, wait. Loot the carcass. I'm gonna hope this doesn't hurt us too bad. Auto-resolve. Okay, no, we're fine. And... take the jars. We need more jars. It's time to start taking jars in battles a little bit more often. Monster of the Sea, this gives you, what, just money, I take it? Probably just money. Alright. Gulator here is in March stance, but if we go here, we'll suffer attrition. Probably. Actually, will we? Kind of hard to tell. But it would be the opportunity, I should say, for Rakash to knock this guy out, and then he could return to grab this shipwreck, and then go down to Elysia here. It would mean skip... oh, I guess we already have to skip Torkar. You know what, that may not actually be the worst thing in the world. If this little army here, that was the Citadel of Dusk... Actually, why the heck were you guys here? How did you get here? Citadel of Dusk is from here. They're from... what? Wait, how do these guys keep coming here? In the other campaign, Toralir suddenly appeared here from all the way out here, and now Citadel of Dusk is here. Are you telling me they took 50 turns to sail with a full stack up here? What the heck happened? Okay, but the reason that this might not necessarily be a bad thing is if we give them some territory, we might be able to vassalize them as well. Either way, though damaged we are, this is an army in march stance, and I'm disinclined to let that go. So we're going to attack them. You have Sun-Scorched Bones, sir. Now let's start getting you elite cavalrymen, because it buffs your carrion. You don't have them in numbers yet, but you will eventually. And, oh, actually, no, I lied. We will want to... we'll want to keep the points for this, for his unique line. I said that last episode, and then I promptly forgot. Alright, away we go. Sorry, Gulator. I do love you, sir. And oh wow, he's also a Chaos Sorcerer of Plague here. That's fantastic. It's Gulator is real. He's one of the named characters from the community canon. Gulator Halfspawn, definitely a favorite around these parts. But anyway, a valiant defeat high casualties, marauders. I think we'll be fine. We're damaged, but we'll be fine. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Rakash, our rising carrion lord, now has eagles in his army, which will hopefully be pretty nice with their bleed application, though we do have plenty of sources of our own bleed application, I suppose, via the Joff's incantation of Cursed Blades. It's always nice to have a little bit more, especially since there is a limitation on the number of units and that this will apply to. Anyway, eagles are ready. Actually, now that I think about it, if we combine carrion and... anybody know anything about eagles in real life? Do eagles eat carrion? I mean, will they eat carrion, or will they only eat live things? Just out of curiosity. Anyway, away we go. The enemy will try to charge forth, or very kind of slowly jog forth towards our Nehekar horse archers with their piles of doggos. Fortunately, the piles of doggos did get drawn forth to where we wanted them, and the eagles will land upon them, with the carrion helping out a little bit as well. Actually, it looks like the flock of Jaffa is a pretty big model size. They're about the same size as the eagles, surprisingly. Anyway, the enemy doggos get absolutely crushed pretty much instantly. They are terrified of... Chaos Warhounds, they got terrified with pretty decent amounts of HP remaining. Well, that's their problem, I suppose. We're gonna run them down, and we've got more doggos coming in on the leftmost flank. If the enemy wants to waste its units like that, then they are more than welcome to do so. That said, it's not like the enemy isn't really doing anything. It's sitting back here, and it's using its Chaos Sorcerer of Shadow to spam Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma on our units here. The Blessed Legion are going to be their focus. And this thing does about 3,600 damage over, I want to say, a full minute or something like that, so it's a decent bit of damage, not a particularly big threat against a unit with a lot of HP, like a melee infantry unit, but with the relatively low HP on skeleton archers, especially already damaged skeleton archers, 2 Melkoth's Mystifying Miasmas can probably kill off a unit, so I'm definitely going to have to watch out for that. Anyway, similar to what we did on the rightmost flank with the Nehek horses, where we led the doggos towards the eagles and the carrion, we do the exact same thing here with the chariots, and the eagles should have absolutely no problem ripping those doggos apart. Even though you can't underestimate the Hounds of Decay / Hounds of Pestilence, they're a very solid unit. But as we've seen, eagles are pretty darn solid themselves. Looks like the Chaos Warhounds 2 units are routing, and Hounds of Decay are about to go as well. The chariots will charge in to help out, and will probably chase the enemy down to free up the eagles to do other work. Looks like another Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma comes in, 48 more seconds of damage, and I fear this particular unit of skeleton archers will melt away before we can do anything about it. There they go. And they've reached their... crumbling cap or disintegration cap, and that Melkoth's will get them. Well, at the end of the day, not a huge deal, a little bit annoying, but what can you do? Just got to take it, especially considering that probably, well, it might not have happened if we had fought the battle at full HP, but, well, that would have cost us another turn of doing stuff. Anyway, once again, the eagles and the flock of Jeff get to work, get a little bit of action of arrows versus axes as the horses sort of... skirmish off against each other, but then the eagles come down, and so do the carrion, and the horses get ripped apart, and just like the doggos did. And that said, that looks like that's a sufficient amount of fast movers obliterated by our flyers now, and the entire enemy army is sufficiently annoyed to start heading towards us. Probably have a few more Melkoth's Mystifying Miasmas in the bank. Or will they move towards us? Oh, they just used another Melkoth's, I think, or something hurt one of our guys. Oh, wait, no, that was just a miscast. Alright, damn you, miscast. Alright, and we can simply fly over those marauders that came to back up the horses, and once again, head directly towards them. There's the, not a Melkoth, but an enfeebling foe. Relatively useless on the eagles, because then they can simply peel away and remain in the sky until they're able to touch down again. Looks like a penumbral pendulum will move through us, probably going to be a lot less damage from it than from Melkoth's, simply because the AI doesn't really understand how to use those types of abilities. The piles of skeletal corpses here, skeletal remains, I don't know, you get what I mean, are just the summoned units of skeletons that disappeared, and oh my lord, those demonettes charging in real quick. Ooh, I like how the Tomb Guard, oh, nice leap. I sometimes watch the charges of units a little bit more. I like how the Tomb Guard preemptively sort of started swinging into the very fast charging demonettes, and that demonette leaping charge was pretty awesome as well. Oh, this poor Tomb Guard. Down you go. I'm not entirely sure why you're going down, considering you only lost a single arm and the sword. You had plenty more to fight with, sir. Alrighty, well, the Tomb Guard will attempt to hold. They will probably get ripped apart by these demonettes if we're not careful, especially with the help from the enemy Chaos Spawn, but well, we'll be sending them help as well relatively shortly. The Eagles have flown around and are moving in to try to assassinate the enemy Lord, while the Usirian's Legion of the Netherworld called off 3 units of enemy Marauders. Had to peel them away over to this side where the enemy was not sending any of its demonettes, so that the Marauders, who don't have magical damage, would be facing off against the ethereal unit, and thus would be particularly ineffective against them. Scorpion has joined the fray, still damaged, but knocking those units around. Something these little guys are absolutely fantastic at, and they look absolutely fantastic while doing it too. And we'll have plenty more Scorpion work as we go. Looks like the demonettes are beginning to melt away, getting a few charges in from the skeleton chariots, and a little bit of help from the flock of Joff as well, as another unit of Forsaken has moved in from the leftmost flank and is attempting to help those demonettes out. Alright, and while the demonettes are melting away, the Chaos Spawn are still in relatively good shape, so that is something we're going to have to contend with. Our Nehekar warriors are taking a little bit of damage. I don't know why the enemy decided to use the Pestilent Breath. That looked like a Pestilent Breath. Yeah, it was a Pestilent Breath. I was expecting a stream of corruption, but it stopped way short. So yeah, anyway, trying to hit something, probably the Nehekar horsemen who are running around and going into melee to reinforce the relatively heavily damaged melee line at this point. It looks like a few Marauders managed to get around our nice little backwards leap and burrow from the Scorp. Yeah, these guys must be so freaking irritating to deal with. Just imagine being an infantryman just with these frickin' things just sort of rushing around and constantly burrowing. Anyway, as I was saying, these guys did manage to get around our flanks a little bit, but we simply send the Scorpion to intercept them. Looks like the enemy Nurglings are beginning to melt away. Our Lord has found the enemy Chaos Sorcerer. Gotta take revenge for all that damage dealt. 97 kills and 11k damage. Solid uses of Melkoths. But it looks like he's gonna book it on out of there. Gulator is still on the field with about half HP as well, and is rushing towards us. And he did have Forsaken and Chaos Spawn in his army, and I suppose this sort of fetid water is, or at least feels appropriate for the Nurglites. That said, it won't help them out as the bounce power shifts to 100% in our favor, and the last remaining things on the field will be those Chaos Spawn. Trying to bring down a few of our Eagles, but it looks like the Eagles will... I think they all survived? I'm not entirely sure, but they did do decent damage, even if a few of our other units, like those poor archers, and did melt away to spell work. Gotta get a little bit more spell resistance and we'll be just fine. Alright, there we go. Someday I will let this army fully heal, but it is not this day. We unfortunately did lose the Blessed Legion to Melkoth's mystifying miasma spam from the other side of the map, which was a good move by that Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows, taking out our arguably most threatening unit. Probably including the Scorpion, since they have Sundering Armor. However, this does at least somewhat play into our hands in the sense that this unit is supposed to go into the SF army, and not this army anyway, so it has to be rerouted anyway. Now, we got 2.6k in money, and the movement range, which could be helpful. We've got decent bits of healing, which we may need if we don't heal for this turn. And of course, once again, we have 50 jars. I'm gonna say take the healing. Because who knows, what if there's another army lurking nearby? Let's not risk the army being completely destroyed. And ooh, we are indeed in attrition range, but if we go here, it looks like we're okay. And on top of that, we'll heal up. Oh, very nice. We'll grab that shipwreck next turn and then head back into Elysia. And then maybe recruit some more eagles. Channeling staff, sure. And, ooh, wait. Channeling staff, can you be combined? Yes, earthing rod plus channeling staff equals Sword of Strife. That's something. It's not nothing. Warrior Bane. Who did I give that glittering scales to? I don't even remember. Who the heck is Senisred? Oh, that's this guy. So you have the glittering scales and obsidian trinket. You don't have a warrior bane, funnily enough. Also need another hero or two in this particular army. We do have a necrotect on the way. Though now I'm thinking, will this army even need a necrotect? I don't know whether this particular army will have constructs together with the eagles and the carrion, although I suppose Ushabti, the melee Ushabti, they could have bird heads, so there is that. And we got another cavalier. We could in theory give you a Tomb Prince if we wanted to. You already have a fair few heroes though. If we give you a Tomb Prince as well, that'll put you at 4 heroes. A little bit much, it feels like. But then, where else would we put him? I think I put 2 Tomb Princes in Rahobi's army. Yeah. What about this army? How many Tomb Princes do you have? You have 1 Tomb Prince and 1 Necrotech, but frankly you don't actually have any room for anything else, so I feel like we can't put the Tomb Prince there. Alright, we can put him into Rakash's army and have him grow in the army a little bit, and then we'll deal with it after. And Cavalier, once again, mostly because infantry. The problem with infantrymen is just the unit will be too slow and will not be able to redirect, so I think Cavalier is the way to go, unless there is a better option that comes up eventually. Brecht, you are moving in, and I believe we're good. Alrighty, or at least we're good with that particular army. Rahobi, you've got another island that you can stop on by before heading down to the Circle of Destruction. We should also get you your levels before we do anything. Get you, I guess, Unscorched Bones again, since you do have access to Skullstorm. And the Necrotect, one of the Necrotects. You have Wrath of the Creator, Stone Shaper, and Restore, meaning you're able to start going through Canopic Jar Hoarder. Beautiful. On to the Mysterious Island, and then on southward towards the Circle of Destruction. Aggression. Given you Mathan's Blessing will hopefully be helpful in the auto-resolve and in battle. As long as we don't get insta-attacked by these guys. I was hoping to vassalize you, but alas. We'll see. And we're at 464, not bad. Rahobi, you don't need that Iron Curse icon. We will probably give you something, but it's relatively useless on a Lich High Priest. Especially since they don't have mounts, and it would be useful on a Cameron War Sphinx, but not so much on a regular steed. Storm and Necromancy, both of the Tomb Princes, max out their Canopic Jars. More jars, please. Ever more jars. Ramarana, you are supposed to head out to the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, which by the looks of it you cannot reach this turn. So what we'll try to do is we'll leave the settlement, we'll pop you into ambush, and head you right here. Wait. I want to go right to the edge of where there's no attrition, right here. And then Raprafas, you're going to go right beside him. And maybe we can bait Malekith into trying to attack them. I don't know whether he can reach us from here, but I guess we'll find out next turn. Ramaranath, you are trying to move through the Restless Dead in order to get the Restless Dead, because you need healing. And Raprafas, Lich Priest, Canopic Jar Hoarder is maxed out. Let's get Nerus, and then we can start going into Replenish. Or maybe more points into Nerus and Jobs, mostly because we spam them constantly. Anyway, Rakash. Oh, you're holding on to your points. Right. Head to core. You, I believe, were looking for that Nemesis Crown, though at the same time, from what I saw in the Imra campaign, the Nemesis Crown gives like a -60 eventually to relations with other factions, which may not be such a great thing. Certain factions can easily overcome it. I'm not so sure Tomb Kings are one of them. Anyway, you move down here. And who are you again? Oh, right, the advisor with the Allure of Light. Ooh, wait, can you join this guy's army now? You can, but there's no room until we trade a bunch of stuff with the other army, so you're just gonna have to follow along. At least, having started at level 5, you can still gather jars for us. The rest of you are gonna move, and assuming that we don't have buildings to build, which oh, actually we might. What do we have here? Elysia? And just build one of the, I don't know, military buildings, doesn't really matter. Iron Coast. I mean, we are probably gonna keep the place, so let's go for Mortuary House to grow a little bit. Let's upgrade the Eldar Spire, and then let's go for the Sepulchre, at least for now. And Obsidian Peaks. Are we gonna keep you? I mean, in full. Well, let's upgrade the Circle of Destruction for now, and then we'll see. We want Clarkar on, but we have to actually find something to trade for it. Maybe if we grab Hotek's Column and give it to them, and then just start giving them Naggareth's territory. Man, I can't believe Naggareth declared war on us both in the Emerald campaign and in this campaign. Aletha Nar. Just a menace. Menace to everybody. Which, you know what? According to the end times, basically, yeah, menace to everybody. Alright. Nagaron, Hagrief, Broken Axe are the ones that want peace. I don't think we want to peace out with Nagaron. I would do it if they were willing to become a vassal, because I would like some access to Dark Elven units, but, well, maybe not Nagaron. We'll see. Plus, a lot of the other High Elves would be not, let's say, super happy about it. You're not also either willing to vassalize Mouse. You are willing to give us tons of cash for it, though. He will eventually sail towards us, but it's not like we have anything on the coast. Frankly, he's probably going to annoy Alariel more than he's going to annoy us, so we can ignore him for now. Alrighty, the rest looks good to me. We are getting our next Herald. We're going to skip, and... did I forget a building somewhere? Iron Sand Desert, yes I did. Plain of Dogs, what were we going to do with you? Well, technically we need to build a Faded Pyramidion here, the ancient pyramid thing. We will wait until we're up to tier 4 on the Tomb City, which means we gotta go for the Mortuary House and the regular growth first and then swap it out later on. I believe we're good to go, unless anything is getting ready to be upgraded, which I don't think it is. Nope. And the rest of these aren't full territories. Oh, well, I guess it's a lot easier when we can just look at the full territories. Alright, we're good to go. End turn. Alright, moment of truth. Is Aletha Nar hanging out, waiting to attack us all along? Nope, doesn't look like it. I saw Naggareth go by. Malice will ask for peace once again, but will actually offer us considerably less money than he did before. I guess he must have recruited a decent amount of units. Ooh, we also gotta knock out that ancestral throng before they return. Definitely don't want them doing their thing. Alright, Rite of Awakening for Hexoatl. Ooh, that's not great. More power-ups for them, but, well. Herald of Resetra, Deathblow for Nehekara Warriors, Skeleton Spears, Skeleton Spearmen, Skeleton Warriors, Skeleton Archers. This army has 6 Skeletal Warriors and Missile Resistance. Might be decent on them. Compared with these guys. The other option would be to put it on the Nehekara Warriors, which will eventually be in Rahobi's army. I think for now we'll put it on the Green Skulls. Base weapon damage plus 100, armor piercing weapon damage plus 100. And the Green Skulls do hit reasonably hard, just out of curiosity. How hard did the Golden Host hit? They actually hit less hard, presumably because of their shields. Alright, I kind of like it. Let's give it to Remerenuff for now, and we'll see. Herald of Resetra. Everybody gets a Herald. Ideally, we can have a Herald for every army, and as long as it's appropriate. Is this wasted on skeleton units? No, I don't think so, because these guys will be dying a lot more than Tomb Guard will be, in theory, at least when we have a lot of upgrades for them. Defeat Nikari. Well, look who's back. And he is coming up in Tori Varese. Alright, well, either way, we're going to send you, sir, or Kosh, right to... Well, I guess, wait, what is this? Shipwreck. Shipwreck is a battle, right? I think it's a battle. Find out. I'm like 90% sure it's a battle. Yeah, alright, so you're gonna move away from that, and I think that's not far enough, but you'll go there next turn. That's fine. Prince Arandes, I was gonna pop you into this army, and we can do that for the battle and get you a little bit of XP. Berecht, you're gonna go to Elysia, where this guy will land before proceeding down to Mistnar Town. Hopefully these guys don't declare war on us. I don't understand how they have a full stack all the way here. Bizarre. But anyway, Khatep. You need to destroy Attain for good, and with their last settlement destroyed, what you need to do is figure out whether we can vassalize them by taking their last settlement, or whether that doesn't work for this particular faction. So, an important consideration. Go right to the edge of this, don't suffer attrition. I probably could have built you some more basic troops, or gotten you some more heroes or something. Whatever, too late. Rahobi. You've only one place to be, and that's at Hotek's column. Regular stance by the looks of it, as the other stance won't reach. Oh, I should have built you another skeleton spear. Ooh, hello. There's an army right there. Alright, this looks pretty auto-resolvable. It'll take a little bit of damage, but not so much. Occupy. And keep getting those jars. Beautiful. Love seeing those jar numbers go up, and so we bid farewell to the ancestral throng and the white dwarf. Sad. Alrighty, now. Actually, wait. What I would like to know is, can we trade you Hotek's column for Clarkarond?
Of a demigod who won't hesitate.
Yes, we can. Fantastic. Alright, we want Clarkarond, and we want Venom Glade, hopefully before you can reach it here. In fact, what we'll do is we'll leave the settlement. We will trade Clarkarond for Hotek's column. If I can find it. Hotek's column... Nope, wrong thing. Hotek's column for Clarkarond, and... I mean, I guess we'll take the money. They're already our vassals. What else are we... Yeah, just to do it. Just do it. Huh, wait. Hotek's column is worth a surprising amount. Clarkarond doesn't actually seem to be worth that much. Where are you, Clarkarond? It's at 8.2. Really isn't that much. Hotek's column is worth 37. Because I'm just thinking, would we perhaps like Shroktak Mount and Rakdo Gorge from them? How much are these worth from them?
Sense no malice in them.
Shroktak Mount is worth 55. Ooh, and Rakdo Gorge is worth 60. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Let's let them keep those then and do the Clarkarond trade. Hotek's column for Clarkarond and money. Go.
With grace.
Beautiful. Alright, we should still in theory heal here, and we'll probably just transfer these territories to these guys. Yeah, there's some ports here which aren't too bad, but I would like a buffer once again. There's a lot of Chaos Forces and other Dark Elves and stuff up here, and frankly, I'm already not happy with how close these territories are, because Tomb Kings just have the worst garrisons, and I'd rather not deal with constantly enemies from there. I'll just give territory to those guys. Anyway, Tomb Prince, let's get you phalanxes? I'm not sure phalanxes would actually be all that useful, but Air Command, Dominance, and Persevere are pretty good. I mean, I guess we could move you through to hard to hit first and then do it after. Let's do that. And you're in the same position, so indomitable will for you. Alright, that looks good to me. And next up, King Rakash is good. Romarinef. You are going to go into regular stance, and that will allow you to reach the Altar of Ultimate Darkness. Neither of you have a siege equipment of any kind, so you're going to go here and you're going to besiege. And you're gonna wait around because there's nothing else for you to do. Build. I don't think these guys are gonna sally out, but who knows. Let's give them an option. Let's give them a chance. And you, I guess, can go past this. You will eventually join these armies, but they need to meet up with other armies. You would like to go right here. And to avoid suffering attrition, you're gonna go into raiding stance. And assuming that, yes, we can fight them all. Alright, good. Sisters of Twilight still hanging out, not doing anything useful. Watch them go for Harkaldra. Do we care about Harkaldra? Honestly, it depends on if we want Nagarond or not. I'm not entirely sure that we do want Nagarond. However, Grond has this. Research rate income from all buildings. Both are fine, but honestly, it's not anything crazy. And at tier 5, it's going to take a long time to get there. Maybe we'll ignore it. Frankly, the other elves would have been a nice candidate, and I would have loved to have given it to Nagaroth if they were going to be one of our vassals, but they're still being jerk faces. And, well, jerk faces must suffer the fates of those who have jerks for faces. Anyway. Alright, let's keep going. Herald of the Scorpion, Herald of Khemri. This thing, Hawkish Precision, would be nice for basically any range unit. I think that's the most universal thing that we have out of all the remaining Heralds. Yeah, let's go for the most universal one, and not surprising, the most universal one is the Herald of Khemri. Good. Although I prefer Mahrok, just because. Because they're the ones that are going to be in Khatep's army. Perhotaten, you are supposed to move down to join Rahobi. Katakor, you... Honestly, I no longer know what I'm doing with you. You're just going to be a scout now. Once again, he was just looking after that Nemesis crown, but because of the massive public order issue that, or relationship issue we'd suffer with everyone because of it, probably not worth our time, even though it does feel at least somewhat appropriate for Khatep. Oh, would you look at that? Hard enough. -6, -57? Damn. We should sail somebody down to Cathay. Hopefully before they die, but because they're clearly in trouble down to 4 settlements, but that would be a nice vassal. Military alliance with the Vress working on it, but also working on their vassalage as well. I'd like to vassalize Harganath. Anyway, let's take a look at building, and it does look like we have a decent amount. We can upgrade you. Technically, we're not making any money, so I'm not sure that there is any point, but whatever. We'll delete it after anyway. In fact, we should do this one by one, just to double check. You are okay for now, Tyrant Peak. Red Desert, we got one more turn. Beautiful. Now, out of curiosity, this is plus 60. We need 270, meaning we're free to switch to worship and upgrade you next turn. Meaning also, we are free to... Wait, let me just see this. We are free to switch to the burial pits and start getting capacities. Beautiful. Alright, take out the mortuary sanctum and do that. That's what I like to see. Hag Grief, we will... I'm still undecided on whether we keep you or not. The problem is we have to kind of defend you and it'll be a whole hassle to do so, but I don't see any way to escape it at the current time. We need to build some stuff up here, but I think the growth is probably more valuable. Especially if we want to upgrade the Hag Reef building. Frankly, we should probably get rid of the brass works anyway. And start building the landmark. Anyway, you are good for now. Let's upgrade your Grand Ossuary. Let's go for Calidor. Let's go for another military structure. Growth should be fine since we're not collecting income. You don't need to switch commandments. You're fine. You're fine. Still on the fence about keeping Aetane. Not really necessary. I'm not sure it does anything for us. Mostly I want to keep the White Tower of Hoeth, but I'm not sure we care about Aetane enough. Clarkaron will upgrade you. We can't build this yet, but 100 animal cages is quite a lot, considering the Tomb Kings don't build a lot of... they don't generate a lot of resources, like only 10 out of these. So it's a pretty significant amount. You're gonna go for Public Order first, mostly because your Public Order here is horrendous. And lastly, White Tower of Hoeth, yes, we will keep upgrading you. Mausoleum, this is a tier 4, right? Yeah. Mausoleum, Regnant Catacombs, and... we could delete this and go for the Golden Age monument here instead. The growth plus 3rd plus 10 won't really help us. It'll be a little bit of growth for all provinces, though. At tier 3, we will immediately be able to construct a burial pit as well. But it will then take longer to grow everything else, though not that long. You know what, maybe I like that idea. Stay in the Regnant Catacombs, we'll delete it or whatever as needed, but we'll wait a turn and build up the pyramid. Oh, wait, what's the Public Order like? Well, you know what, the Public Order doesn't actually increase growth, but it does increase construction or cost time. Alright, fine, we have to wait until tier 3, so we'll do that. Reduce construction time, I mean, and that is very, very important for the Tomb Kings after all. Alrighty, anybody else need to do anything? Who is Nektomahat? This guy, alright, yeah, leave him there. Leave him there, double check Diplo once again, just paranoidly, and we're ready to end the turn. Skip, and... Raidhar Cauldra, recruit chariot. Oh, 20 jars for recruiting a chariot, eh? Actually, you know what? Can you? Nah, damn. I was hoping to recruit a single unit. Anyway, let's end the turn. Let's see if these guys want to sally out and attempt to attack Remeronef. Would be a nice big battle if they do, but if they don't, we'll have to take it to them on the walls. Malekith will stop recruiting, and by the looks of it, end his turn like that. He will start suffering attrition, so by the looks of it, we will indeed have to attack the walls. Now, do they have a garrison structure here? Or will we be able to do this nice and cinematically? Illyrian has ended our another elf. Okay, well, it's basically vassalize the elves or destroy the elves by the looks of it, so it is what it is. Plus 8% casualty replenishment rate. Solid. Versus 40 jars. 1 battle worth of jars. Let's give this a read, because I don't remember seeing this before. We have made a great discovery. During the course of our excavations, remains of the army that once served Alcadazar the Conqueror, the last and maybe the greatest of all priest kings of Nehekara, have been unearthed. It would take but a little magic to raise them to our service. Should we do so, or give them a ritual burial in the classic Nehekara style? I mean, 10 turns of 8 casualty replenishment is probably worth a lot more than 40 jars, so I'm gonna do that. And there's that Herald of Hemre. Lovely. As for who to give the Herald to, in theory, King Roprafos will be commanding our... Will be commanding our Asaf army, so he'll have a decent amount of skeletons, but... Once again, I feel that this particular Herald, because it also buffs Ushabti and Bone Giants, should probably be in an army that's using a bunch of mixed range units, rather than Asaf, which is Sepulchral Stalkers, in a combination of Skeleton Archers. That doesn't mean, however, that we shouldn't pop them into this army temporarily and swap it around later. Next Herald, we got Herald of the Scorpion for the Scorpions. Sphinx is the most useless one. You also have the Ushabti one. You know what, let's get the Ushabti one. Power up the Chosen of the Gods even more by giving them ridiculous range. Khatep, are you in range of these guys? Looks like very close to it. Go into regular stance and see if you can land here. We'll suffer reef attrition by going there, but there's not much we can do about it. And ooh, there's an island right there. Fantastic. I also noticed that they have no army, meaning it's either gone somewhere or because the Galleon's graveyard is the only thing they own, they can no longer build units. I gotta get back here quick, especially if Illyrian is planning to declare war on us, and by the looks of it they are. We need to be prepared for it. To destroy them, etc. Damn. I wanted to grab Venom Glade, but looks like this guy is moving up towards Circle of Destruction, and we don't have an extra army to grab this. Man, okay, I'm just gonna hope that once we take a bunch of these territories, we can trade it to these guys for Venom Glade, which I'm willing to bet that they will take. Go to Circle of Destruction, then. No choice. And then I guess we'll loop up here and then grab the monoliths. We just need those other armies that are up north to come down here, but, well, we're busy now. Altar, you don't have a garrison? Fantastic. That means we got a big old cinematic fight coming. You're gonna get Wrath of the Creator for this particular battle? You, sir. Roprafos, you have Canopic Jar Hoarder maxed out. Armor when defending, or HP for yourself. When defending, I find, is a relatively useless trait, and thus will take on yielding for the HP points, as we will be on a War Sphinx eventually, and, well, spamming HP points is really, really good on a big old barn of a target, walking barn of a target. Anyway, you two, you're gonna switch to... Man, I wish Entombed Beneath the Sands gave you like some melee defense or something, considering that it is our equivalent of an encamp stance, but we essentially lose the leadership and melee defense bonuses just for Sandvale. I'm not sure we care that much about Sandvale, to be perfectly honest. Also, I just realized I should have besieged with this army instead of this army, because you have access to Tomb Swarm, but it's too late now, so we'll just have to do without. Alright, both of you, away. To Altar of Ultimate Darkness, Pyrrhic Victory, they've got a lot of shades and a lot of units. We got a few towers, but no easy way to bring the enemy towers down, but plenty of scorpions to move through the gate. Go. Alrighty, here we go. I'm excited about this, and I am praying, absolutely praying that there will be no desync for this particular siege battle, because if there isn't, we should get a proper big old siege as we storm the walls here, since we have no other recourse. 4 siege towers heading towards the enemy, a battering ram, as well, and no way to bring down the enemy towers. So we're going to have to take those walls with those green skulls and see how much damage they can survive. Fortunately, they do have magical fire damage, and that's pretty decent, especially considering these Dark Elves don't have any kind of fire resistance on them. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off with our 3 Scorpions heading towards that enemy gate and attempting to break through it. The Necrotect is going to move in and help them out and buff them up, and teensy bit as well. Stone Shaper gives them missile resistance and armor, Wrath of the Creator gives them melee attack and armor-piercing damage as well. And I don't know where the hieroglyphs of protection are from, but they're from something. Huh. On the... maybe it's something specific to the Scorpions. Well, good for them. I know what the green skulls have it as well. Might be an aura of something. Because these things don't have it. Huh. I'm actually curious as to what this is from. 10% damage resistance. Maybe it's an aura caused by this guy? Is this from you? Ah, yes, okay. Affects all allies in range, passive ability, Augmentaria. Alright, well, good job, Ramiranov. Anyway, the battle will begin as our siege towers head towards those enemy walls, while the arrows of our skeleton archers, our Krokagar Legion, go over the walls. Once again, lighting looking absolutely fantastic, as we're getting some solid sort of lit-up battles against the Dark Elves. Over the walls and into the enemy shades, who are firing back at us with those armor-piercing crossbows of theirs. But they are visible due to the proximity of the units near the gate, and thus this particular unit of shades should be brought down. I'd say reasonably quick, though not as quick as we'd like perhaps, considering it's, what, 6 units of Krokagar Legion all firing at them at the same time. If we get some, get some Lizardmen allies, it would be really nice to have a few Salamanders and such in this army. I'd get more fire units. Ideally, the Ushabti with Greatbow in this army, though very, very strong, are merely here as a temporary placeholder unit until we can get more. Anyway, looks like our Scorpions have broken through the gate and the green skulls stream down from the walls above to move with the Scorpions and attack the enemy shades and Dark Shards. Gotta prevent these guys from firing back, whether it be at our Krokagar Legion or our green skulls. And by the looks of it, we are able to engage a fair few of them. So far, so good, at least with regards to the desync, as everything is happening as it should. Scorpions seem to be stuck just a little bit. They might be interfering with each other a teensy bit, but they just need to engage with one unit, and then they'll have their sort of burrow animation activate and send them forth into the enemy army. Do, however, have to watch out, as other enemy range units are going to attempt to focus them down. Out here, we've got more green skulls streaming through the walls, and more green, or streaming through the gate, rather, and more green skulls hitting the enemy, having come down from the walls. They got 20% fire resistance, which is great for them, considering the fire arrows coming down from above. And speaking of fire arrows coming down from above, it's also time to get the Krokagar Legion up on top of the wall, so that we fire over the wall and down from the wall as well. Everybody move up and start firing into those Dread Spears and Bleak Swords. Scorpions have arrived as well to help the Green Skulls out. Do definitely have to be a little bit careful. These are still relatively basic units, even if they are a special variant of them. And we do have our reinforcements arriving on the field as well. Ushabti with Greatbow moving into the settlement, and the reinforcements coming in, okay, in 1 minute. Ushabti with Greatbow are going to start shooting the enemy as soon as they get into position. They're going to just ignore the Bleak Swords here, but instead line up behind where the melee is currently ongoing, and fire into those units of I want to say Dark Shards, not Shades. And there we go, firing right into that blob of units, and those massive arrows fired by those stone sentinels will knock huge holes in the enemy lines. A couple more volleys like that and this unit will fall as the rest of our army streams into the city. Although it does look like the enemy has brought in a few more heavy defenders here as some Blackguard of Nagaron stream out from behind the enemy barricade. This means we will back off the Scorpions unless they get surrounded and destroyed by the armor-piercing halberds, and instead allow the Ushabti with Great Bow to take pot shots at those Blackguard of Nagaron. With a little bit of help from the Krokagar Legion, the Blackguard lose about half of their HP in a couple of volleys, and though they are still steady, we'll keep them locked in place with our green skulls, and just keep on firing at them rather, until we dish out enough damage. Over on the right side, we keep streaming down the hill now to continue catching any enemy Dark Shards and Shades. We've managed to prevent pretty much this entire blob of enemy range units from getting off much more than a couple shots. These guys have 2 kills to their names, for example. And we just got to keep moving. Gotta keep moving and keep these guys tied up so that they can't fire. Though, of course, the Shades are decent in melee, and without the help of our Scorpions, I'd wager they'd probably be able to fight on par, I would say, with the Green Skulls. Just out of curiosity, 32-31 versus 63-47 on those Shades, and they're more heavily armored as well, so yeah, they may be a range unit, but they're more powerful than these guys. That said, it is only technically true. We still have spells available to us, we have the Realm of Souls, and we have the help of the Scorpions, and whatnot. Green Skulls are meant to hold the line, A, and B, we gotta remember that we don't have Sun-Scorched Bones as yet to buff them up. Anyway, looks like the enemy barricade has at last been brought down, and more units are going to try to move their way forward. Unfortunately, the enemy capture point, key location, whatever is right here, and this key location controls this tower which has been firing at us for the entirety of the battle. Looks like an enemy Death Hag will head towards us, gonna get a little bit of sniping action going as the Ushabti with Great Bow attempt to focus her down. I do wish that they were firing a little bit more staggered, but they do stagger her in place, and we'll probably be able to knock about half her HP out before she gets into combat. Definitely needed, as the Green Skulls will probably not be able to do much, if anything, against the Death Hag. Although we do have a Tomb Prince here as well, so that should be quite helpful. Okay, Necrotech, you be careful, don't fight the Death Hag. You get outstats pretty darn hard, twice as much melee attack, and the Malekith is coming as well. Alright, we gotta surround these guys. Let's head towards them, try to protect the Necrotech while just drowning the enemy in Green Skulls. And we got our Scorpions moving back in to help out as well. They had backed off previously in order to make sure that the Ushabti with Great Bow could get shots off without killing off our own units. Still heading down the hill, and the enemy lines of range units continue to buckle. The enemy perhaps should have left some melee units back here in order to protect them. And our reinforcements have obviously arrived on the field at this point, with the Nehekar horsemen catching some Dark Riders, locking them in place and allowing these Scorpions to make their way into the fray. And soon the Sepulchral Stalkers as well, which should be able to add their anti-large halberds to easily rip those Dark Riders apart. Still more enemy range units around, however. Plenty of them in this particular battle, though at the very least Malekith is just about done for, having been surrounded by all of our elites, and a newly arrived reinforcing unit of Ushabti. Not a Realm of Souls Ushabti, but one of the Ushabti from the Second Army instead. Alrighty, I do believe Malekith is fallen in there. Oh no, actually, he's down to about 10% of his HP. But the troops that were guarding him are just about done for. He might actually come back. I think he's routing rather than... he's broken, he's not shattered. Try to get a few more shots at him with our Shabti with a great bow, but it looks like those Bleak swords or whatever they were took the hits for us. Ooh, nice Chillwin going through our lines there, taking about 30% of the HP off 2 of the units of Green Skulls, and we're going to back them off. That does activate Realm of Souls, but we don't want them getting hit with any more of those. Scorpion moves towards Malekith once more with the Ushabti and our single entity heroes in tow, and at last Malekith will be brought down. Almost weird not seeing him on a chariot, like it's too early in the campaign to see him leveled enough to be on his Black Dragon, but I kind of got used to him being on a chariot from the Imric campaign, and now just seeing him on a Cold One mount seems odd. Though he is going to be obviously stronger on the Cold One mount than he is on a chariot, so good for him, or at least good for him previously. Ooh, and it looks like the Ushabti have finally taken enough damage. They've only lost 2 units out of 16, so we should be able to back them off and hopefully restore them with the Necrotects before they take sufficient damage. Otherwise, the Ushabti Great Bow rather continue firing on the enemy, though it won't be needed much longer, as the enemy settlement will collapse, and this glorious siege battle will be ours. Man, that was really fun. I always absolutely love sieges where you have to storm the walls with piles of units. I mean, look at all this. Glorious. Oh, alright, I really hope that particular battle worked and did not bug out, in the sense that I hope it didn't have a desync for that battle, because it felt like such an epic siege, just the mass numbers of the dead overwhelming the enemy defenses, and it rarely feels like an epic siege, but it felt like we had to work for that one, which made it feel really good. Anyway, losses weren't anything crazy. 500 units lost, mostly on the Green Skulls, who had to lead as the Vanguard, and oh wow, 20k damage on you. How the heck did you do that? You're just a skeleton warrior. You're a special skeleton warrior, but you're still just a skeleton warrior. That's pretty impressive. I'm gonna need a name for you, sir. I'm definitely gonna need a name. Oh, speaking of names, okay, well, let's occupy this place. Yes, occupy Altar of Ultimate Darkness. I'm not sure that we actually care about it ourselves, but well, for now. Yeah, damn, another mistake that I made was, well, I guess the same mistake I said earlier, that I should have attacked with King Roprafos, and that remains the case. I really should have attacked with Roprafos, because Frenzy is useless on the Lich Priest, and is not so useless on this guy, but, well, you screw up on occasion, or many an occasion. Anyway, what I was about to say about the names, I think... Now, I do this rarely. Where are we? Here was Khatep. But the Sphinx of Usek has done so much in this particular battle. I usually don't rename Regiments of Renown because they already have a name, but this guy deserves a community canon name, not the Sphinx of Usek. I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing, so somebody come up with something awesome, because this guy has killed so damn many lords and single entities and monsters throughout this campaign, just being Khatep's loyal bodyguard. That said, for the lore suggestions for this thing, doesn't necessarily have to be tied to Khatep. In fact, maybe it's better if it's not directly tied to Khatep at all, or maybe just sort of loosely, and because if we bring it back next time we play the Tomb Kings, or for example if we build a Necrosphinx out of an outpost of another faction, it doesn't necessarily need to be this guy's attached at the hip to Khatep, you know what I mean? Just some kind of awesome Necrosphinx story. I'm just completely drawing a blank right now. I'll probably come up with something by next episode, but well, let's see if you guys can come up with something better. And anyway, let's keep going while we have the time. My PC got really angry over that particular battle, which has me a little bit nervous. Simply because I guess there was just so many units on screen at once that it was like, please stop. I'm begging you. Anyway, Island Song for you, and still nothing crazy out of it, but oh well. I guess we landed Elysia to heal up, and then we moved to Mistnar afterwards. Baraktaskir. I guess we can slowly start reducing the number of skeleton archers since they're not going to be the main sort of attraction for this particular army. We do need a necrotect for the mobility, I guess, but the rest is fine. It is. It feels like a few too many heroes now, but what can you do? Also, since we're here, Heralds of Ariel, 35, damn. It used to be 33, but it increased. Ooh, we do have Treekin available now as well. That'd actually be better tanks than... Oh, and then there's the War Dancers. And we could just go for Avalornian Eagles and maybe take the War Dancers out of these guys' armies instead. Not for this army necessarily, but for another one. Because the Great Forest Eagles cost considerably more than the regular Great Eagles. And granted, they have more melee defense, but... And they have armor piercing. Wait, are the Wood Elf Eagles just better? These guys have veterancy, so they have slightly higher melee attack, but yeah, it's 65 melee attack versus 55. But at the cost of more armor-piercing damage. I guess the Great Forest Eagles are a tier 3 unit, and these guys are a tier 2 unit. Just out of curiosity. 75 and 125 versus 125 and 75, kind of reverse. So I can see why these guys are more expensive. But on the other hand, it wouldn't be an easy way to... There isn't an easy way to access the War Dancers otherwise. So I think we're going to build an eagle here. In fact, you know what we'll do? Who do we get out? Okay, no, I'll just let both of these skeleton archers go. We're going to take another Avalornian eagle, and then we'll just build up 4 Avalornian eagles here. And we'll start recruiting our Carrion, because we can recruit them here. I'm gonna have to be careful because we'll need Tomb Guard and other skeletal warriors and stuff to actually replace us. Otherwise, we're basically all hammer, no anvil, which works for non-fragile sort of factions, but not so sure about ours. Anyway, King Raprafos, you need to get a move on. So, entomb beneath the sands and move towards Harkaldra. Mesh up, you guys have to stick around. We didn't lose any units, did we, in that battle? No, we didn't. And we didn't, which is significant because we can't put Mesh up into any of these armies. Alright, they still have Nagaron, they still have Harkaldra, they still want peace, but they don't want to be subjugated. I mean, good for them, I guess, but, well. Subjugation or destruction, it's your choice, Nagaron. Well, you're going to be forced into making one either way. And... Khetikor. Keep swimming around, keep acting as a scout. I'd like you to sort of stay in the sea around here just to see what is coming towards us. Perhotaten, that was this guy? No, that was this other guy. Who should be in this particular army? Now, as for what we take out of this particular army, I guess it's the skeleton spears. There's a bunch of stuff that still needs to be traded, but for now, we need you to actually be built up. You're a Lich Priest of Nehekara, yes? I have 2 Tomb Princes and Necrotect, and then yeah, everybody has all these heroes, but they're needed. We gotta grow our jars. Meshep, you're stuck. Nektomhat, you are stuck as well, and we're good. Alright, building. Start from the top. Ashen Coast. We are looking good, yes? Yes. Altar of Ultimate Darkness, we will switch you, I guess, to... Growth? Yeah, Worship of Tra. Don't need the Brassworks, but we will keep the Funerary District here. For a turn, just so that we can move further, since we already started with it. Planet Dogs, you're fine. Red Desert, you are... going up to tier 4, beautiful. Start off the next turn with a Burial Pit. And get ourselves in... Why can't we build this? Required Mortuary Sanctum. I deleted the wrong thing, didn't I? I was supposed to delete the hidden... Damn it. Oh, I screwed that up. I accidentally deleted the Mortuary Sanctum instead of the Hidden Sanctum. Whoops, so that's my bad. That's definitely my bad. If anybody was screaming at the screen, well, you are correct and I'm an idiot. Oh well. We will still be able to fortunately build the Royal Burial Chamber and the Bone Giant Place, the Nehekaran Citadel, which is the main thing that we wanted, but I guess it'll take a little bit longer to get the Revered Mausoleum up and running. This also explains why our predicted income dropped, because the Mausoleum is no longer increasing our... Well, actually, no, we're not collecting income, so I don't know why it dropped. But anyway, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Haggrief, yes, build the face of Haggrief, please. And I guess, I mean, we could switch to the reductions. We're still fine in terms of money. I think we'll just stay as we are. And we'll stay as we are here as well. Keep on growing. Calidor, I'll upgrade Vol's Anvil. It'll be a while of it growing, but it'll be worth it if we can trade it for a decent amount of cash. Same thing with you there, Angariel. Obsidian Peaks, you are growing already, and decently. And Safari, you're probably going to be kept, and Carenthel, you're fine as well. Alright, now, 2 other things to do. First of all, it's levels, mostly because we need to check that canopic jars are being built. We also need to level up those necrotechs. We're about to start getting tier 4s, which means potential for bone giants, for example. I wonder how good they are in SFO. I personally have never found them to be particularly good as a unit. It always felt like a waste to put them in a slot when you can just use an Ushapter with Great Bow, which is just better. But, well, I don't recall how good they are in SFO, so we'll see. Anyway, what do we need for Mr. Amenhotep the Insane? Still no Hydro Titans, and it'll be a while. Woundmaker, I guess, for you while you keep on fighting. You have canopic jars. I don't even know why I'm checking these guys in Khatep's army. They'll have everything in Khatep's army. I guess we're going to go through this now, just to try to get to Vicious Curses. Every single priest buffing up faction-wide the Caskets of Souls. Oh, I should also check... Runic Staff. I should also check how close we are. 3 turns to the next casket, alright. We'll put one of these in the Asaf army. Get a little bit of extra range damage. Rakash, you are holding points until level 15. Prince Arendis. Canopic Jar Hoarder, please. And Senusret. No Canopic Jar Hoarder for you, but you can max out Replenish Troops since you have Soul Blight and Spirit Leech. Senotep, you... do not need Mortuary Cultist. You have Canopic Jars. Let's go for Replenish Troops next. And I just want to do this before we end the turn, because it's extra Canopic Jars, and every turn you must acquire as many jars as you can. Ramaranef. You got Root Marcher. You will need Sun-Scorched Bones as fast as possible. Just that these darn warriors don't die. That does buff them, right? I don't see green skulls here. Green skulls? Oh, they're right there. I lied. Passage of the Soul Realm, Sun-Scorched Bones. We'll go for Root Marcher after. It just feels like these guys are getting hit pretty hard, so let's be careful. You're gonna go into Canopic Jar Hoarder. There we go. You're maxed out in Canopic Jar Hoarder, so let's get you Indomitable Will and Phalanxes. And King Raprafas, you are up next, sir. You have Canopic Jar Hoarder maxed out. You want to go into Passage of the Soul Realm next, I guess, and we'll start building up the Asaf stuff as we go. Khatep, Canopic Jar Hoarder, please. And Kagatef, you have Canopic Jar Hoarder maxed out. You have Nerus. Do we want to max out Nerus or Juffs, or do we go Replenish Troops? Let's start with Replenish Troops. Alright, and I believe that's it. Hetekor remains our scout. Kind of starting to remember that Hetekor is a scout, which is unusual for me. And Diplomacy. What are we looking at here? Mazda Mundi. Still relatively friendly. All those war declarations really helped out, though. I am getting nervous about him hanging out here with armies. Hopefully this is enough. Hopefully he'll declare war on the Jade Court or something, and we just... yeah. Northern provinces are almost willing to trade. I would do it, however, at minus 59. It's actually, if they get into more wars, we might actually be able to vassalize them relatively soon, so I think we're not going to do anything with them. And there's potential there. Even if they don't like us a crazy amount. And the rest of this, I believe, is good, so we're gonna skip here and not moved, and we're gonna end the turn. Don't believe anybody should attack us, but we should be able to hit the Galleon's graveyard. I wish it didn't have to be Khatep that had to go out here, but, well, that is what it is. Frankly, I'm starting to think we need to send Khatep back around to Mazda Mundi, though the problem is Kuren still holds another book. Though I think it's one of the less good books, so it's not like we need to rush it. Frankly, the Mazda Mundi book isn't a great book either, it's just that he's building up armies on our borders. Gilgallion! Non-aggression pact. That was the last agreement we had with you, wasn't it? You little. Alright, Gilgallion, I think... Ooh, hello, what do we have here? Income from trade tariffs reduction versus increased trade tariffs and income from trade good producing buildings. I mean, frankly, I don't care about either one of these. We don't make enough money for this to be a concern. Let's give this a read, though. The main tributary used for trade and transport of materials from one holy site to another is slowly drying out. The water level has now dropped to a dangerous level. What should be done, if anything, to prevent it from drying out completely? It's a little bit of more money. I mean, on the other hand, 40 Canopic Jars isn't all that much. Yeah, just dig and pray, whatever. Ally mission aborted. Tyrannog destroyed. Alright, so. Hey, there's that Herald of Joff. Good. What we need to do now is... Okay, now that's actually really concerning. Why are you here? Okay, we all know why he's going there. Yeah, Khatep, I was gonna send you here to deal with all this stuff, but it looks like we're gonna have to leave King Rakash to deal with it because... And Delariel, I suppose. We're gonna need to trade some of this stuff so that it doesn't get taken over. Ooh, I don't like that the public order here is still negative either. I mean, we don't have public order builds. Alright, let's replace you with a public order building and with the idea that we will trade you, but hopefully with, you know, additional public order. You know what, maybe we should stop upgrading you and upgrade Lothern first. Alright, either way, Khatep, we will want you to attack the Galleon's graveyard. There should be, like, nothing there. And in fact, there is basically nothing there. Auto resolve. And occupy. And with that, Seatane has been destroyed and subjugation was not an option, meaning we will not be able to subjugate Alethanar, which is a bit of a shame, but, well, what can you do? Now, does this do anything faction-wide for us? Yeah, sort of. Go into Worship of SF, I guess, and uncollect the income. This only gives us immunity to reef attrition, so it's basically in Galleon's graveyard, and the garrison here is just absolute garbage. Construction costs -1 for all buildings, all regions in this province. Ooh. It doesn't even give us any grave port or any tomb bark capacity. I really wish that more factions, especially undead factions, had the ability to get something out of the Galleon's graveyard. It's a little bit weird considering this is just like a huge necromantic locus in the center of the sea that Noctilus is drawing upon the power of, and nobody else can use it in any way. Anyway, these jerk faces have decided to declare war on us. Or actually, well, they haven't decided to declare war on us, but they're preemptively deciding to declare war on us. So instead, we will declare war on them. Or rather... Alariel? Kill. Alright, we shouldn't have to do anything. Alariel should be able to destroy them without too much trouble and take those territories and, well, become stronger and provide us some more nice tribute. In the meantime, Mazda Mundi, would you declare war on Illyrian? For 4.6... Ooh, 12k. I gotta think about that one. We may have to wake a new army soon. Man, I mean, 1, 2, 3... It'll take 4 turns... Actually, I don't know how many turns it'll take to get the Heralds empowered. But it'll still take 8 turns to do this. Maybe what I should have done is kept saving the points until we could awaken an army via a new dynasty. Hard to say, but anyway. Let's keep moving in the meantime. Hetakor, I'd like you to go down here, keep a scouting eye on the enemy. I don't want Rakash to immediately get hit. Hey, it's Luan. I don't imagine he'll randomly declare war on us. We'll find out, I guess. You can go into this stance and then move into Misnar. Oh, did we just trespass through these guys' territories? Yes, we did. Should have gone through the sea. Valiant defeat? Really, this? This? I don't think so. I mean, it's a lot of Spawn of Slaanesh, admittedly, and we no longer have our skeletal archers, which would make it a little bit weaker. Fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, you know what? We are basically out of time, but we did so good last time on the engagement threshold, so I think we'll fight one more battle. However, I will do one thing. I'm going to quick save here because I don't trust my PC right now. It feels like it might crash. I think it's running too hot ever since we got that battle going with all of our 2 armies going at once. I'll need an upgrade someday, but for now, it's still going, at least until it explodes. Go. Alrighty, here we go. More eagles added to Rakash's roster. And look at the little tiny carrion. I got so used to the flock of Joff and their size that the regular carrion looks so tiny and adorable by comparison. They're like little, well, not quite featherless, but I don't know, like little chickens. But they are adorable. Anyway, how many are there in a single mob? 40 of them. Not so bad. They're relatively fragile, though, and their HP isn't particularly high. That said, their melee defense is fairly decent, and considering they're a Fellbat analog, that does make sense. Relatively low attack, solid melee defense, no armor, or at least nearly no armor. Though by the looks of the upgrades we can get them to do solid armor-piercing damage, so they might be fairly decent damage dealers. Anyway, there is a Slaaneshi tower here, and we have to send all of our flyers at it to knock it down immediately, as Slaaneshi towers are extremely scary and possibly the best towers in the game. Fortunately, that one does get brought down relatively quick, and it was a tier 3 tower as well, but at least won't be threatening us any longer. Out here, the Eagles are going to move forward, and as we know, Eagles are duelists and assassins, and the enemy lord is relatively exposed out here. Which is hardly a surprise, since it's the Slaaneshi we're facing off against. Anyway, ooh. Rolling out the red carpet for the Eagles by the looks of it, and, well, at least the bloodstains won't show up that much on the carpet there. The Eagles and the flocks of carrion will surround the enemy Hellstriders and the enemy Lord alike, who has dropped down to nearly half HP. And while we've taken a little bit of damage on one of the Eagle units for doing this, it's not really enough damage to be of any concern. Especially since not a single eagle has fallen, and the damage is likely spread among the various units from having fought all those Hellstriders. Hellstriders are out, and the enemy lord is down to 30% of her HP, and by the looks of it, is broken and routing as well. Chase him down while we deal with the rest of the enemy army. Speaking of the rest of the enemy army, we've got Demonettes fighting our Tomb Guard with a little bit of those Chaos Spawn as backup, but that's just the beginning of the Chaos Spawn in this particular army. As we've seen, the Slaaneshi garrison is pretty darn solid, sporting many of those spawn. And man, whenever playing Tomb Kings, I'm jealous of literally every single other faction's garrison, because Tomb King garrisons are so garbage. Alright, getting a little bit of a charge in from our skeletal archer chariots, but gonna back off lest we get them surrounded or ripped apart by Demonettes. Exalted Demonettes, I should say. Oh wow, they are all Exalted Demonettes? Damn. Yeah, once again, solid garrison. I mean, if you pit garrison against garrison of any faction, I'm pretty sure Tomb Kings would probably be dead last. Like, if you took the garrison army out of the settlement with the garrison building, against any other faction with a garrison building, Tomb Kings would be pretty bottom tier. Well, maybe Empire. I don't remember what Bretonnia is, and well, Empire has a lot of state troops, which would be pretty weak as well. But they do have a lot of range units, crossbows and gunners in there, which, when defending a minor settlement, can be pretty solid. Still, I would be interested to see the contest in SFO. Anyway, the enemy is still surrounding us, and we are still very much in the fight. King Rakaj is kind of isolated by himself here, fighting Spawn and Demonette and Marauder alike. But he does have a healing potion and pretty solid stats as a fighter, so he should be okay, at least for now. Alrighty, and besides, as long as the enemy keeps blobbing up like this, we can keep dropping Spirit Leeches on single entities and as many as we can on the Chaos Spawn, while also popping those Soul Blights off and debuffing the entire enemy blob in terms of melee attack, defense, and leadership, and damage. Gotta love that Soul Blight. Anyway, looks like more of those Chaos Spawn have arrived. I think 1, 2, 3, 4 of them right now, or 4 units full of Chaos Spawn in the enemy blob here, and they are still attempting to hold us back. The Eagles, the Flyers, and the Carrion and Eagles have all not been idle this time, however, as they've been flying around, finding isolated enemy units and destroying them. I believe the enemy Lord has been assassinated at this point. Now we drop down upon a unit of Hellstriders, and the Eagles and Carrion should have no problem ripping this one apart as well. Carrions start the day, the Eagles follow suit as well. Kind of surprised that the carrion got here faster, considering they are... Let me see. They should be, yeah, a little bit slower than the Eagles. Anyway, the Hellstriders will drop. Demonic mounts disappearing as they're banished, and the Mortal Marauders dropping off. Although aren't Hellstriders joined to their steeds so that they're kind of like one creature? I guess these guys are still technically mortal, the riders. I mean... Alright, well, the Hellstriders are out and breaking, running away, while the main fight still continues. We are starting to take quite a bit of damage, as we can clearly see, with pretty much all of our units just a little bit below half HP. We did rather just get our second Realm of Souls activation, however, and we still have a third one left to go. Maybe if we lose enough Skeletal Warriors, we might even be able to activate third tier Realm of Souls, and okay, there's Scorpion. Get right in the camera like that, and activate a unit of Ushabti if we can. And still oftentimes it feels a little bit too difficult to activate a Realm of Souls, because it's a mechanic that effectively punishes losing, and it's, well, it's never necessarily a good thing. And it also punishes using constructs, because you can't really, you can't activate the Realm of Souls and base out of them. Which is a bit unfortunate as well, since it's such a big part of the effectiveness of the Tomb Kings, generally speaking. Especially considering the lore of Nehekara, even with the just spam healing, is never going to be even close to the level of healing that the lore of vampires is. And just by comparison, for another undead Healy lore. Anyway, looks like some of our units got hit with something, some kind of effect. Oh, fascination. Well, we can hit the enemy right back as the flock of Joff drop bombs and down below upon the enemy, and then head into the fray. The Eagles have peeled away from the enemy formation and have joined the main line, where it's time to crush the remnants of the enemy that are attempting to hold us back. And it's about time too. Perhaps I waited a little bit too long, as we did take way too much damage trying to get through the enemy. But once again, it is a decent garrison here, so maybe not the most surprising aspect of it. Probably what I should have done is kept at least one of the Eagle units back to just be able to repeatedly cycle charge into the back of the enemy line, apply a little bleed, do a little damage, and back off and do it all again, over and over, especially while the enemy was blobbed up trying to fight us. Not to worry though, the Eagles did arrive just on time, as they have a tendency to do. And same with the Carrion. And while the battle should be nearly ours, while the balance of power is at about 85% in our favor, looks like at least a few more enemy marauders and such will make their way forward. A unit of Seeker Chariots tries to join the fray as well, but gets very quickly obliterated by Beacon Talon. Terrible, terrible matchup for the Seeker Chariots, and the Marauders are joined by yet another unit of Chaos Spawn. Now, the Chaos Spawn have been fairly tough in this battle. We've been doing our best to use our single entities, whether it be Lich Priests casting their spells, or the Lord, or the Necrotect, or the Tomb Prince to attack them, plus all of our range units. All of our arrows from these guys have been trying to focus down those Chaos Spawn. They are surprisingly tanky, despite being a sort of frenzied damage dealer type unit. Especially a Slaneshi frenzied damage dealer type unit. Because of their numbers and their smaller size, they feel a lot less fragile than the Cornate versions, which just seem to get obliterated when anything looks at them. I think I heard one of the Hellstriders say something about Slaanesh, but I couldn't make it up. Not that it matters over much, as Slaanesh won't be too happy with them, as they're going to attempt to run away, leaving only the Chaos Spawn behind, and drooling mindless monstrosities that have no knowledge and no care of what is going on, and no mind to do so with anymore. Down goes one Chaos Spawn, just a few remaining. Bring them down one by one with the remnants of our skeletal warriors, or Nehekara warriors. And that won't get back up. Well, it probably didn't get back up for the long. Nice scorpion sting from our Tomb Scorpion, and then there was one. The priests are in it to win it now, whacking away at it with their staffs as well. And at last, the last of the enemy Chaos Spawn will go down and the battle will be ours. And it can't be, well, there's no need to chase around, but our Carrion were melting away here, lots of our units heavily damaged. Certainly a Pyrrhic victory, but a fun fight and a decent defense from the Slaneshi, which is always what we want. Alright, there we go. It was a very nice battle. Certainly took some effort. The Chaos Spawn are a little bit of an issue for this army, but if we can make a main line of halberd-wielding Tomb Guard, it shouldn't be a problem, especially with the hammer of the Eagles, one of which managed to get 22k damage, the Flock of Joff at 20k, and the Carrion at 9k, pretty solid as well. Assyrian's Legion of the Underworld at 20k, not surprising either, as they pretty much always do get, and our archer support came in from our chariots and skeleton horse archers, which I guess in this particular case did in fact work out. More jars for us as we occupy the place, only temporarily mind you, but nonetheless occupied, and it has a desert lookout, I mean, if we wanted to keep it around for a little while, we could certainly do that, though what I would like to do, in theory, is to try to trade Elysia to these guys.
Before I have you sent back to your graves for good.
Please don't make Alariel kill you. Let's see. I mean, we could get friendly relations with them just by giving them Elysia, and if we trade Shrine of Kurnus back from these guys, trade them Elysia for general alliances and such, and then trade them Shrine of Kurnus for vassalization. Perhaps that's the way we do it. I don't know if it's necessary or if it gives us anything, but it will give us an additional elven faction to get an outpost of. Anyway, folks, with that, we're very, very much out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we decide where to go with Khatep, and by the looks of it, we gotta go here as the lizards are mustering on our borders, leaving this army to deal with all of this. The other option, of course, would be to send one of these armies down here, but they'll take a long time to get there. I'll think about how to handle this one, but we'll have to figure it out next time, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.